When it comes to Hermes bags, I wouldn't buy one. Hey everyone, there are quite a few popular bags and I've had some of you say in the past, why is it that you haven't bought that brand, or why is it that you haven't bought that particular handbag from that brand? And they're all really good questions, and I will say before I get into this, before I tell you about the 7 probably biggest, most popular bags that I've never bought, and you might be shocked to hear about it, although actually 2 of them I have bought, so, and I'm going to explain that as we go. But this is by no means a cuss on your bag if you own any of these. It's not me saying that they are not nice bags, it's just me with my opinion, and that's it really. So if you're watching, don't get offended, there's no offence intended. The first is one that you might be surprised to hear, because I do own it in a few different sizes, and it is the Chanel Classic Flap. I would, for the new prices, I would never buy this bag again. It would have to come in a magical colour, in something really different, really eye-catching, something that was keeping me up at night, for me to actually decide to go and buy one of these for the prices. The jumbo size is over £7,000 now, the medium is over 6,000, and I do believe the small is over 5, quite close to 6,000. Now, to give you an idea, when I bought the jumbo back in 2016, I thought it was expensive. It was 4,500, and if you think about all of the bags at the same time that were out back then, about £2,000 was like the average for how much things from Dior and such, like Gucci, that was how much they were on the top end. And then you had Chanel that was 4,500, so Chanel did feel loads more expensive than those other brands. But now, for me, Chanel has reached a place where I personally wouldn't spend the money. I think that I'm glad that I own what I do, and I'm glad that I bought those things when I did, because they were expensive then, but now I think the prices are inflated to a point where I don't personally think it's worth it. That's not to say those items are not going to have a future value. They will. That's a whole different topic. I'm just saying that for me personally, I would not spend my money on those items. I don't think they are that worth it. What I do think though, if you've always wanted like a classic flap, have a look pre-loved. And pre-loved doesn't, you know, I'm quite into vintage now, but vintage isn't for everyone. And if you think, no, I want a newer one, I don't want the flattened down quilting that can happen with the vintage, you can get pre-loved. If there are any really good pre-loved Chanel bags that I can find when I'm editing this video, I'll link to them below. But last time I checked, you can get the jumbo for around about £4,500 pre-loved, whereas that bag's over 7,000, so that's quite a good deal. The next bag I wouldn't buy is the Speedy, and also the Neverfull from Louis Vuitton. I actually have bought the Neverfull before. Some of you might remember it. I owned it like a couple of years ago now, and I actually gifted it to one of you guys, one of you subscribers, Stacey. I don't know whether you still watch, but Stacey had been going through some stuff, and we were talking, and she actually owned that bag and it got stolen, and I wasn't using it, and Stacey was lovely, still is, and I used to talk to her all the time, and I thought, well, I'm going to do something nice, I'm going to give you this bag because I don't use it. But there was a reason why I didn't use it. The reason is that it used to fall open when you put it on the floor. It's got quite a loose structure, particularly if you get the larger size, which I had. You placed it on the floor and the sides just spill open. The other thing I didn't like about it was the thinness of the straps. They never broke, but I always felt that they were going to. And I just felt all in all that it was quite a messy bag to work with. And for me personally, and it's not for everyone, but I ended up exchanging it, or I ended up upgrading to the Dior Book Tote, which I know I say it's not for everyone because that oblique pattern isn't for everyone, and indeed the brand might not be for you, but I find that a much more robust version of the Neverfull. For the Speedy, I think it's a good bag to buy if you don't want to spend over 2,000. Or how much is that bag right now? I'm not sure. I think if you don't want to spend over 1,500, it's a good bag to buy. However, for me, it's not a bag that I've ever been tempted by. I don't especially love the bowling bag design or structure kind of shape, just personally. I have also seen the bag, and after a while it looks like it, in the larger size, again, the canvas is like reasonably soft, and the more you use it, the more supple it gets. And whenever I've seen it, it's been kind of crumpled on the top, where you hold the handle and the more you've got in it, the more it kind of collapses in on itself at the top and like pulls where the handles are. And it's also a bag that I think you see quite a lot of fakes of, or like dupes. A lot of you have told me before, and I actually met one of you, India. I met India a couple of weeks ago, and you were saying that you wanted to buy, it was a Louis Vuitton, I can't remember what it was, and it was in the monogram, and you said, I'm not even going to bother buying it because I see it everywhere, like fake, and it doesn't feel special. And I think that's what it comes down to. Wherever you stand on fakes, I think it's just comes down to, if you keep seeing something, it doesn't feel special anymore, and when you're going to spend a few thousand, you want it to feel special. So for me, the Speedy isn't something I'd go for. Now, you know I love Dior, but the Bobby bag, I question what's going on with that. And again, it's no disrespect on anyone who owns it, these are all just my opinions, but Dior, so I really like Maria Grazia Chiuri and her designs, and I like the way she's freshened up the brand and the way she's brought back like the saddlebag and the oblique. I enjoy that. But one thing that I have noticed, don't know how many of you kind of know what I mean or agree or disagree, but since she's been in, there's been a lot of new bags that have been launched and then they've been discontinued. And you've got the Lady Dior, which has always been there, you've got the saddlebag, which came in and that stayed, but you've got things like the Dior bag, which came in, was really popular, then faded away. You've got things like is it the Diorama and the Dior Ever, two other bags that came in, they were really popular, and then they faded away. And you can go to Bicester Village and find all three of those bags there. And now the Bobby has come along, and I feel as though the Bobby could well follow in those footsteps and be a bag that is discontinued. Again, it depends on the kind of person you are. You may or may not care about that, but it's something that I do, generally speaking, I do care about it, because some bags, when they're discontinued, can start feeling a bit difficult to work in with an outfit, and that's why I like buying classic things. I like buying things that are always in, they're always being made, so that I'm not having to go and buy a new bag. Like, that's why I don't really like buying what I see to be trend bags, and I think the Bobby bag is a trend bag. Hermes, now here is where it's gonna get controversial, because when it comes to Hermes bags, I wouldn't buy one new. Maybe used, or pre-loved, but generally speaking, for me, I would not buy one new, because I cannot be bothered to play the games and to spend the amount of money that you need to spend in order to be considered, and to kind of, you know, have to make false friends, like with essays. You know, when I know so many essays, and they're lovely, and they almost do become your friends, but I wouldn't want to have a fake relationship in order to just get my name down. For me, I don't love the Kelly or the Birkin enough to actually go and do that. The only bag from Hermes that I would ever consider is the Constance. I've always really liked that bag, but I don't like it enough to rush and buy it. If they weren't so hard to get, I would consider the Constance. The other two are not a shape or a design that is personally to my taste. So that is why I wouldn't buy them. I also haven't had the best customer experience there. I've bought like a small trinket bowl, and I've got like one of those, you know, the cuff bracelet, the click H bracelet, and I've got a belt. But that's really as far as it goes, just like small things really. I wouldn't necessarily, or no, I wouldn't go and buy one of their bags. Okay, so two more. The next one is the Bottega chain pouch, and I say this because I do actually like the bag, I just wouldn't personally buy it. I wouldn't buy it because, well, have a look at this. I've got a really good quality dupe. Now, it looks like a dupe because see the chain handle? That did not come with this bag. So this bag is like a premium cactus leather bag. It comes with its own chain that looks nothing like Bottega at all. It's not even trying to be Bottega. Actually, the shape, the name of this bag is Croissant in Italian. It's called the Cornetti bag. It's not trying to be Bottega, it's trying to be its own thing. But when I saw it, I thought, oh, if I put a Bottega style chain on that, which you can get on Etsy, find them really easily, I could make that, like, give it that chunkier chain look and make it look a bit more Bottega. And I personally prefer this bag to the Bottega because of the price. This bag was around about 600 or 700 pounds. I was given it, by the way, but genuinely I would buy this bag, and I would have bought it if I didn't get given it because I love it and I use it loads. But the Bottega one is like over £2,000, and I think the Bottega version is a trend. The Bottega looks quite like a dumpling, whereas the Cornetti bag does look more like a croissant, and I think I'm more into that croissant shape. If I had to be into a dumpling or a croissant, it's more a croissant. And then finally, it's a new bag out, one that I cannot get on board with. I'm not drawn to it at all, and it is the new Dior Vibe bag, which looks, again, it's a bit like a bowling bag, kind of like a workout bag, and it's part of the new cruise collection. I'm not sure whether this is going to be a bag that sticks around or whether it's just part of that collection, but it's one that I can't figure out what it's trying to be, because it's way too big to be a handbag, but then I don't really think it's big enough to be a hold-all, because it's like this big. You could fit a pair of shoes in it and like a rolled up t-shirt or something, but it's not big enough to actually be a gym bag. You could maybe use it in the same way that you might use the Dior tote, book tote, where you're just keeping in small things. Let's say you're going to go and travel. This might be a really good bag for you. But for me, it's not one. I don't particularly like the style of it. I'm looking forward to the new Dior collection coming out in the next week, I think it is, because at heart, I'm a Dior lover. That is my brand, and they haven't really had anything for the longest time that has caught my eye. It's just, for ages, I feel like it's all just been a bit dull and lackluster, and I'm hoping that this new collection coming out, which is 1960s inspired, I'm hoping that there is some like really hot stuff in that collection. So they are my bags I'd never buy, and just a reminder as well, this video is not meant to be me insulting any of you who own these bags. It's all just my opinion. God knows I own bags that a lot of you think are gross, and that's totally fine. And some of those bags, I would agree with you. I'm like, yeah, why did I do that? Most of them though, I can look at them, like the saddle bag. I think that bag is, I don't want to say gross, weird. And I know it's weird. I own one and I love it, but I know it's a bit weird. So when you tell me these things, I get it. When some of you say that's really weird, I'm like, yeah, I know. Most of the time, I want to say all of the time, I'm agreeing with all of you. But anyway, yeah, as I say, not trying to upset anyone. Do let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there any bags that you wouldn't buy? Are there any bags I own and you're like, I would never buy that? Please let me know below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.